You know, a wise man once said, it can't rain all the time. So am I going to rain on the parade of this film? Probably. Intro. Yo, what's good? It's your boy JJV saying welcome to another review vidya. And yes, we will be reviewing a movie. And it's a movie that stirred up quite a bit of controversy. And I know what some of y'all are thinking, dog, didn't you not see this film when it came out? I mean, it came out a couple months ago. Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. We are in the middle of spooky season. It is Spook Your Mama season. And the original film took place during Spook Your Mama season. So it seems fitting to review The Crow 2024 during Spook Your Mama season. I'm just saying. But anyway, so yes, y'all, in case you haven't figured out by now, we will be reviewing The Crow 2024. And oh boy. Let's go ahead and get into this. Now, I did originally record a review for this. The audio didn't come out. It didn't record. I checked my sound settings, so we should be good now. If not, well, I guess fuck it. But anyway, so I did get done watching The Crow 2024 finally. I did just finish reading through the graphic novel, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you're expecting me to review bomb the shit out of this movie, y'all know where the door is, because you know we got plenty of review bombs on this movie out there already. If you're expecting me to be a Crow 2024 stand over this film, we got enough of those too, so you can definitely see the door if that's what you're also expecting. I'm gonna be as fair and objective as possible with this film, because I feel like we don't have enough of that, you know, in the YouTube hemisphere, especially when it comes to reviewing films and whatnot. Which, don't get me wrong, man, I'm all for the First Amendment. Everyone has a right to their opinion. You know what I mean? Everyone has every right to feel the way that they do when it comes to certain things, especially films like The Crow. Because look, I get it. I'm a fan of the 1994 original film. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to Brandon Lee. You know what I mean? Who did a phenomenal job with the character. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and shout out to everybody, you know what I mean, that was involved in the making of that film. You know what I mean, given with what they had to work with, they still put out a phenomenal film. In my opinion, it's a phenomenal film, fantastic story, filled with so much heart and soul. So, you know, my hat's off to everybody that was involved. Now, with that being said, there was a lot of things that 1994 film did not reference that this film does. So let's get into the cons right away, because for every con I have for this movie, there's a pro that goes with it. So for one, I did not like the fact that the main characters were drug addicts, and they met at a co-ed. Apparently, there's co-ed rehab centers. I wasn't aware of that, but apparently couples can meet at a co-ed rehab center, you know, when they're trying to, you know, detox and what have you. I guess that's a thing. Apparently, I don't know. Now, some reviewers have said that the relationship between the characters Eric and Shelley was a bit forced. There wasn't much chemistry. I can definitely see that. I definitely picked up that vibe as well. So that is a fair critique when it comes to the relationship aspects and whatnot. The dialogue is not the best. I've heard other reviewers say the dialogue is not the best. I've heard people totally shit on the dialogue. Now look, I will say this much. The dialogue, I will agree, for the most part, is not the greatest, but I don't think it's overall terrible. Could there be some improvements in the dialogue? Absolutely, especially when it comes to the main characters, the main protagonists. Absolutely, their dialogue could have been so much better. I will 100% agree with that. Pacing was another problem I have with this film. There were some people that were saying that that Eric doesn't really go into his full-on Crow mode till towards the end of the film. That is true to some degree, although there were points before he goes into his full crow mode, and like during like the last 25 half hour, however short rather, portion towards the end of the film where he was in full crow mode. He kind of was in that crow mode well before then. He just didn't have his face on at the time. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and I will agree that I would love more actions of him as the Crow, seeking revenge. You know what I'm saying? Rather than waiting for like the final last, again, 25 to half hour long portion towards the end. So yeah, I do feel a little cheated in that regard. It was a bit of a long stretch. You know what I mean? Establishing the relationship between Eric and Shelly, and then they try to do the whole memory flashback thing, but it's stuff that we have already seen in the beginning of the film, so it was a bit counterintuitive, you know what I mean, and a bit redundant. We all know what happened at the beginning of the film. They're saying you can ignore all the beginning portions of the film of their relationship and like zone out for a bit and then zone back in when Eric goes into full crow mode. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, then this movie did not need to be like an hour or two long. I don't know, man. It just felt like it really dragged. And yeah, I will agree the pacing does need, but the pacing was really, really slow. It was a slow burn, and it was a slow, painful burn. Does not take place during Halloween. This one is more of a pro and a con. No, scratch that. This is definitely a con, because in the original film, Eric Draven and Shelley Webster were murdered on Devil's Night. And I believe in the original graphic novel, it was established that they were murdered on Devil's Night, you know, during the month of October, if I'm not mistaken. Be advised, I've only read through the graphic novel once, so I'm going as best as I can with my memory from the first read through of the graphic novel. I'm gonna have to read through it again, which I will, because that graphic novel was actually really good. Now, I have to give this film points for some of the things it did get right, and for some of the things that it did reference in the film. First off, I like that they didn't use the Draven and Webster surnames. Those are exclusive to the 1994 original film. So yeah, they weren't even called Eric Draven or Shelley Webster in the graphic novel either. They were just known as Eric and Shelley. So as much as I don't want to, as much as it pains me to do it, I have to give this film credit for not using those surnames. You know what I'm saying? And that is one of the things that it did get right according to the graphic novel. And either way, it was a smart thing that they only went by Eric and Shelley, because this could have been anybody named Eric, and the woman could have been anybody named Shelley. I mean, those are two pretty common names, so I'm not sweating that so much. I kind of just like, I'm just gonna say, all right, it's just another guy and another dude who happened to have the same names as the original characters. You know what I mean? Again, common names. The white horse was referenced in this film, as the white horse was referenced in the graphic novel, from the graphic novel, I should say. That was one of the big things. And then I do like the fact that the final boss, the big bad villain that they got in this film, was a supernatural villain. This was a guy who apparently has been living for like well over 600 years or so, because apparently he made like some sort of deal or pact with the devil, and it gave him this ability to whisper into people's ears, causing them to do whatever he wants them to do, whether it's for them to kill somebody for him or for them to kill themselves. I thought, okay, pretty unique idea, you know what I mean? Pretty unique characteristic, you know what I mean? Totally cool concept for a big bad villain. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like the fact that this was someone that, you know, could potentially defeat the hero of the film, if you will. So yeah, I was totally with that. The healing effect. Now, I do like the healing effect in this movie. It's pretty gnarly, but I mean, honestly, it is more realistic looking than the original 1994 film. I mean, if we're being totally honest, if we're being totally transparent, the effects in the 1994 film do not age very well. They really don't. They are definitely a product of their time. I'm not knocking, I'm just saying it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm still a big fan of that 1994 film. It is one of my all-time favorite films of all time. That will never change. But yeah, if you go back and you look at the healing effects in that movie versus this movie, I mean, I have to give it to this film. If I'm being totally fair and totally honest, I have to give it to this film. I do like the healing effects in this film. And I like that the healing effects actually don't work unless Eric in this movie has to put something back into place, whether it was his kidney or a bone from when he breaks one of his legs. He has to set all, you know, the certain things, you know, that may be, you know, sticking out of him or whatever. He has to put all that back into place before, you know, his wounds can actually seal up and everything, which I thought was a totally cool idea, totally cool concept, you know what I mean? And it totally worked. And speaking of his abilities, while we're at it, I like that he has to learn how to use these abilities. And he did have a not Skull Cowboy as his guide rather than the Crow, which if you read the graphic novel, the Skull Cowboy was Eric's actual guide, whereas the Crow was it was actually an entity that took the form of a crow that would speak to Eric in a middle realm or purgatory, which this film also utilizes. So I have to give this film points for utilizing that middle realm purgatory type place. And yeah, and the crow not being Eric's guide in this film, that is correct. Unfortunately, that is right. I mean, whether you like it or not, that is right. The Crow was never really his guide in the graphic novel. In the original 1994 film, it was. But in the graphic novel, the Skull Cowboy was the guide. And the Crow, again, was just this entity that would speak to Eric. You know what I mean? Would act as a guide too, but not as a guide in the sense that it would, you know, be out with Eric and act as Eric's extra set of eyes. So, you know, it is what it is. What else? So yeah, okay. So we covered the healing effect, middle realm. I will say, again, in all fairness, that this film, it's just okay. It's just all right. Is it the greatest movie ever? No, not by any stretch. It is heavily flawed. Even though it referenced more things from the graphic novel, and it may have got more things correct, I still hold the 1994 film, the original 1994 film, at a much higher ranking. That film will always be number one. Nothing's ever gonna top that. And even though they did some things correct, like again, not using the Draven and Webster surnames, yeah, I just wish the director would have given us what he actually promised. He actually did put out a post on the internet saying that this movie would be closer to the original graphic novel than the 1994 film. But then after seeing what we got, I still can't help but feel like it's actually a total spit in the face to the fans, you know what I mean? And it is an insult to the intelligence of the Crow fan base. Because, yeah, you may have referenced more things, but that doesn't mean that you got a lot of things right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I still feel like the 1994 film, it captures, you know, the spirit of the graphic novel far better than this film does. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough because I like Bill Skarsgård. He's one of my favorite actors. You know what I'm saying? I like him in the John Wick films. I like him as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. You know what I mean? In the recent It films. But I don't think it's fair to kind of, you know, put this movie on his shoulders and have it really rely on him. I think he did fine for what he was given, even though what he was given wasn't really the best material that he had to work with. But I felt like he did his best, and it still wasn't enough. And I'm not faulting Bill Skarsgård for that. I'm faulting the writers for that, and I'm faulting the director for this film as well. Because yeah, this is, again, you reference a lot of things, but this is not closer to what we got with the original graphic novel. This is not closer to what we got with the 1994 film. Overall, it's an okay Crow film. If I look at it as like another sequel, as an original standalone story, then I think it's fine. I think it works as a Crow story, but as a retelling, it fails. It fails. It flunks with falling colors. Yeah, it's just, yeah. So yeah, guys, pretty much that's all my overall thoughts with the film. I think it's just okay. If I were to rank it amongst all the other Crow films that we got, like I said, the original 1994 film, number 1. City of Angels is definitely a close second. I really like City of Angels, and I would say I would much rather watch Salvation than watch this one. I think Salvation is also another solid sequel, given that if you look at the story of Salvation versus this one, I think a lot of people will agree, yeah, even Salvation is better than this movie. I will rank this one above Wicked Prayer. I still think Wicked Prayer is the worst of them all. No shots fired against Edward Furlong. I actually met Edward Furlong. Totally cool dude, total sweetheart, you know what I'm saying? Just an awesome dude. So yeah, nothing against Edward Furlong, but The Crow Wicked Prayer is the worst Crow movie still, by far. This one is just right above that. You know, so there you go, guys. It is what it is. That's pretty much my overall thoughts on the Crow film. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you even bothered to watch the film, and why you did not watch the film. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you did. What did you think? Are you guys with it? Are you against it? You know what I'm saying? Or are you just like, I'm, you know, sitting on the fence with it? You know what I'm saying? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be very much appreciated. It's your boy Jason JV saying thank y'all for watching. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. We very much appreciate it. And until the next time, peace.
Jason JV on YouTube.
What's up with you, Jason JV?
What up, Jason JV?
Just sending love, peace, and blessings to you.
Jason, you are my homeboy, my guy. Don't call me guy, pal. Don't call me buddy, pal.
Much love to you, JV. Chris Calico. Cali, baby. Oh.
What's up, JV? My name is To My Madhouse. One half of the next dude on the street. Who say what's up to you? Keep your motherfucking head up. I don't know why you sad. If you sad, you sad. If you happy, don't get too happy. Don't be expecting shit. It's like you curves all the time. So you ready to be on the swerve. So subscribe, tap the little bell, turn on the notifications, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Eat it, yeah!